Introducing a completely redesigned experience that you can sense. And that senses you. The new Dell Latitude laptops bring your work closer to you.
Across central Victoria, this is Win News.
Tonight, 3 major fires burn out of control as international crews join the battle. Plan to transform a Bendigo office block into a luxury hotel. And tears and cheers as the new school year begins for local kids. Good evening, I'm Bruce Roberts. Also tonight, parents urged to check what children can legally ride to and from school. Parts of the state were plunged into darkness last night as the extreme heat put pressure on the power network. 3 large fires are still burning near Jellybrand, Walwa and Dargo, but some relief is on the horizon.
In the dead of night, a Jellybrand property under direct fire.
We've lost probably, let's say, a third of the property in terms of fire damage, some fences and maybe let's say half the hay that I'd cut.
While the fire is being managed on Rob's property now, there are concerns the current weather will see it flare up again.
Doesn't look contained to me. It looks like it's smouldering away and it wouldn't take very much. A stiff wind and a warm day and it'd take off.
The Jellybrand, Dargo and Walwa fires are the 3 biggest still burning.
We've probably still got 6 weeks at least to 8 weeks ahead of us of really active fire activity across the state.
Jellybrand's also currently without water due to fire damage at the Barwon Water Treatment Plant. The Ravenswood South fires, which burned through Harcourt, have now been deemed non-suspicious by Victoria Police, but the cause is yet to be determined. It's hoped forecast rain could aid firefighting efforts.
We will see some rainfall, particularly over the Walwa fire in the northeast of the state, and also that fire across the Otway Ranges. And
while some areas sweltered through another scorcher today, there was some slight relief.
We did see a bit of a cool change move across southern areas overnight yesterday. That has dropped temperature a little bit back across southern parts of the state, but anywhere north of the Divide is set to swelter all the way into the weekend.
But more than 100,000 properties also lost power overnight as energy suppliers struggled to meet increased demand.
Certainly the heat and demand played a role on local networks. We also had things like trees over lines, we had cars into poles, and we also had some wildlife impacts as well.
Lena Zuccarelli, Win News.
Record-breaking heat, bushfires and floods are wreaking havoc across our country, but be warned it's only getting started. Experts are warning Aussies to brace for more extreme weather with 2 more months of the season to go.
From flooding rains in the north to devastating bushfires in the south, the team inside the National Situation Room is keeping watch over the perfect storm of extreme weather. Infernos scorching more than 4,000 hectares of land in Victoria.
It is really important that communities continue to heed the advice of emergency services, but those assessments will continue. But the losses already in Victoria, there are over 1,300 structures that have been lost, and that includes more than 400 homes at current count.
The National Aerial Firefighting Fleet emergency stockpile and more than $171 million worth of disaster funding already helping out. But Aussies are being warned the record-breaking heat and unpredictable weather is just a taste of what's on the horizon.
We are right in the middle of our high-risk weather season. We still have 2 months to go. Prepare yourself for whatever may come.
UNSW Professor Jason Sharple's uncovering a disturbing trend with his research. Heat waves are becoming more frequent, more severe and longer lasting. The volunteer firefighter turned bushfire scientist hoping to use his findings to better predict severe weather.
If we can understand where these sorts of events are more likely to occur and how often they're likely to occur, that can sort of give you insight in how you can sort of better assign resources on sort of days where these things are likely to happen.
Investigating factors like firm winds that blow down warm, dry and strong air, fanning the flames and making bushfires like the one in Victoria more difficult to predict and harder to control.
The Mount Lawson Walwa fire did have some indications that it was being affected by sort of interactions between the synoptic weather and the mountains, and there was a little bit of a wave-like feature, a bit like a fern.
His research is part of a national mindset shift away from mopping up after Mother Nature.
Our job is going to be around how we can make our communities more resilient, how we can make our infrastructure more resilient, and how we can mitigate against the worst of natural disasters.
Joanne Griffiths, Win News.
An old office building in Bendigo CBD is set to be transformed into a luxury hotel. The historic Hargrave Street location is expected to offer more than 30 rooms in a city that is crying out for more accommodation.
The gates are locked and it's looking worse for wear, but this historic CBD building could soon be transformed into a brand new hotel.
I mean, if it's serving a new purpose, I think that's really good.
I think it's great seeing a building that's been empty and for sale actually being purchased with some initiative going in there that's going to bring people to the centre of Bendigo.
A planning application submitted to Bendigo Council proposes partially demolishing, altering and extending the existing building, which used to house offices. The existing fencing, car park and associated buildings would also be removed.
If office spaces aren't going to be taken up with people not wanting to work in offices as they traditionally have, then it's a great repurposing of them, and that's really what we need to do with some of our older buildings.
It'd probably be like maybe rebuilt on a little bit, but I guess, yeah, it's pretty good.
Locals are welcoming the plan as the city falls short on accommodation during busy event periods. More than 30 rooms are expected to be on offer.
I think it'll attract more tourists and it's good to have just an extra hotel somewhere to stay.
When we're busy for events, there's not enough hotel rooms, so actually having that capability close into the centre of Bendigo is a really good option for us.
The planning application's currently being reviewed by Bendigo Council. Lena Zuccarelli, Win News.
It was a big day for students across our state today. While many were raring to see their friends again and get back into the classroom, others were overwhelmed but also excited by the start of their schooling journey.
A hug from mum and they're off on their learning journey. With polished shoes, new pencil cases and nervous smiles, kids across the state were excited for class today, many for the first time.
How are you feeling?
Happy.
Happy? And you?
Happy.
Why are you excited?
Because I want to make new friends.
I think they're very excited. They've been talking about new friends, a new playground and all the things they're going to learn.
Mum of 7, Christy Hoskins, farewelled her youngest.
It's, a little bit sad because it is the last one, but I'm excited to see where he goes because I've watched the other ones grow up.
Her triplets are also turning a new page, starting high school tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to the math. I'm pretty excited for that. I'm looking forward to just seeing who's in my class and learning with my new friends.
Not all schools have gone back today. The remainder will go back later this week and on Monday.
We had lots of them coming in with big smiles on their face today, which was amazing to see. Lots of nerves and a little bit of uncertainty as to where to go and what to do, but they've all come in and settled beautifully, which is amazing.
As reality hit for some.
I'm definitely starting to feel pretty emotional for their first day, but we're so excited. We've been looking forward to this day for a really long time.
Ruby Silverback, Win News.
Nominations are now open for this year's Macedon Rangers Community Awards. They'll celebrate inspiring individuals, groups and initiatives that make an outstanding contribution to community life. Nominations will close Sunday, February 22. Our state's extended heat wave has the potential to hit local vineyards just weeks out from vintage. Grape growers and winemakers are doing what they can to protect their grapes from the sun and smoke taint from the bushfires.
It's not just people feeling the effects of Victoria's heat wave.
The vines will struggle through this period, just like humans, they're struggling with the heat.
Like us, grapevines are also desperate to escape the sun.
Anything above 35 degrees and the vines will actually shut themselves down, so they go to sleep, which is good, but it's also bad.
With vintage just weeks away, winemakers are hopeful their grapes will make it through the current extreme heat. They say it could push harvest back, but they're doing everything they can to protect their vines.
We have been spraying some products on there to limit the amount of heat that's picked up. We also are irrigating madly.
We've tried to grow a canopy that gives sufficient shade.
Vines are also at risk of sunburn and are prone to absorbing smoke from bushfires, which can cause a taint. Grape and wine samples are already being tested for smoke levels to ensure they're suitable for crushing and fermentation. Tourism's also declined amid the region's bushfires.
The Rutherglen region in particular is very heavily reliant on wine tourism, and so when your numbers drop down, it is impacting your cash flows.
Grape growers say the heat will affect the finished product, but that's not always a bad thing.
The flavour profile will be a little bit different in a cooler year.
Might even produce bigger, bolder wines than we're expecting, and that's sometimes good. Like with your reds, that's fantastic.
Ella Power-Bridger, Win News.
Coming up next on Win News, Central Victoria is celebrating the gift of life at the Transplant Games, and parents urged to check what children can legally ride to and from school. Local businesses across Campaspe are urged to sharpen their skills with a new series of hands-on workshops. Council is offering sessions in social media, video content, digital marketing and artificial intelligence. They're aimed at helping business owners boost their reach, productivity and their profits. Sessions will be delivered by industry professionals and cater to all skill levels. Some workshops are low cost, others are free. Bookings are now open on Council's website. Thousands of drivers were caught breaking the law on Victorian roads over the Australia Day long weekend. Police detected more than 5,000 offences during the 4-day statewide crackdown. More than 200 drivers were caught drink driving, with several 4 times over the legal limit. Another 154 motorists tested positive for drugs. Speeding was rampant, with more than 2,200 drivers fined. 5 people were killed on Victorian roads during the 4 days. The Energy Minister has turned the first sod on the Dalburn wind farm in Gippsland to mark the start of construction. It is a major milestone for the state-owned project, which has been in planning for more than 7 years.
Breaking ground in pine plantations and contending with the breeze.
Just hang on, everyone.
A symbolic place to turn the first sod on the Dalburn wind farm, now owned entirely by the Victorian government.
The SEC will soon generate power in Gippsland for the first time since the SEC and all of its assets were sold off 30 years ago.
First proposed 7 years ago, the project's overcome significant hurdles, including a wind mast that was vandalised in 2020, community opposition and difficult market conditions. Construction will start in March.
The components are coming from a range of countries. I think Denmark and Germany, and I think some from China and India.
Built amid HVP's pine plantations, the turbines will be visible from Yanar, Thorpedale and Bullara. The surrounding plantation trees will be cleared to lower fire risk.
Built-in fire detection and suppression systems in each of the 33 wind turbines.
The neighbours living closest to the wind farm will be eligible for grants, up to $22 million over the project's 35-year lifespan.
We'll be working to shape the eligibility criteria to welcome a broad range of applications.
Construction's set to finish in 2028. Jack Morgan, Win News.
E-scooters and e-bikes will soon be back on the school run, but safety experts warn the rules and the risks aren't always understood. As Victorian students return to class, parents are being urged to check what children can legally ride and where.
They're fast, quiet and causing concern. With more than 1 million Victorian students returning to school, road safety groups are warning road users to be wary of those riding to and from school. In Victoria, there are age restrictions and rules around where e-scooters can be used.
It's very important to understand that in Victoria, if you're under 16, it's illegal to ride an e-scooter. And that if you are 16 or over, it's very important to understand the rules. Wear a helmet. Don't ride on pavements. Keep to the 25 kilometres per hour.
The Peak Motoring Group says many parents may not realise the legal restrictions or the potential dangers, not just to their children, but also to pedestrians and drivers.
E-scooters need to be very carefully managed. They're not a toy, and that they can cause serious injuries.
RACV is now funding statewide research into e-scooter injuries, drawing on data from hospitals and Ambulance Victoria. The results are expected later this year.
Kids go so fast. I've had scooters pass me in my car in a 40 zone. Like they're quite dangerous.
As long as they've got their appropriate PP on, hard hats,
Yeah, I can't see why not. Kids have been riding bikes a lot faster than e-scooters for generations.
New research from Amy shows more than half of Victorian drivers believe children shouldn't ride e-bikes or e-scooters to and from school.
The research also found that more than a third of Victorian drivers want these speedy devices banned from school zones altogether.
Madeline McGarry, Win News.
A sporting event uniting organ donors, recipients and their families will soon kick into action. Hundreds of participants will come together in a range of fields at this year's Australian Transplant Games, all celebrating a second chance at life.
Bella Dyer was just 5 years old when she needed a life-saving liver transplant.
I actually only had probably about 2 months left to live before I received mine.
While Michelle Polly experienced the other side of organ donation. After losing her son Aaron in a car crash in 2003, his generosity saved 4 lives.
I checked the database and Aaron, as an 18-year-old, had gone and signed up. Hadn't said anything to us. It was just his integrity of I said I would and I did.
Now, more than 20 years on, both she and Bella will take part in the Australian Transplant Games.
It's a sporting event, and so there'll be all different types of sports, from athletics and swimming, cycling, different racket sports, but down to chess and backgammon.
I was only thinking the other day what I might do, and I was thinking I might do a 5K walk run.
Maybe bowling. Nah, I don't know, I'm not really a great sportsman, but maybe swimming, maybe. That's one of my favourites.
The Games giving recipients a chance to honour those who gave the ultimate gift, while encouraging more Australians to register.
Use this as a chance to have a conversation with your family, discuss whether you can become an organ donor and register. It's so simple to do it at Donate Life or through your MyGov record.
You're giving someone a second chance at life, and it's, you know, we're forever grateful.
Tilly Hannon, Win News.
Time for some midweek sport now with Jared Constable and JC. A blow for the Spirit ahead of NBL playoffs.
Yeah, that's right, Bruce. Unfortunately, star Micah Simpson's out for the season. I'll tell you more on that next. And high praise for Tongala's Harley Reid, hoping to help the Eagles soar high this season.
Incredibly fun, remarkably functional, and effortlessly stylish. Introducing the all-new Ford Puma. A compact SUV that really packs a punch. Looking good has never been this easy. Secure yours today. The all-new Ford Puma. Effortlessly stylish.
Bendigo Spirit will be without Micah Simpson for the rest of the WNBL season after scans confirmed she suffered a torn ACL. The 23-year-old was injured during Friday night's game against Canberra. The popular Spirit guard will now sit on the sidelines for the remainder of the season. Simpson will consult with a surgeon before beginning rehab. The club says it will continue to support her recovery. The injury dampened Bendigo's performance against the Capitals, who took the first game by 17 points. The Spirit took the second by 4. Bendigo netball coach Tracy Brereton will remain a key figure in Elite Pathways next year, continuing her role with the Melbourne Mavericks Reserves program. Brereton, who also leads the Strikers in the Victorian Netball League, guided the Mavericks Reserves into the Super Netball Grand Final in their first season. Her dual roles highlight Bendigo's growing influence in Victoria's elite netball pathways, with several Strikers players featuring in the Mavericks Reserve squad. The Strikers have also been announced to feature in a curtain raiser against Bundara Express before the Mavericks round 1 clash against the Giants in Bendigo. Reigning number 1 draft pick Will Dersma's making an impression at West Coast. A group of Victorian players returned to Perth a week earlier than scheduled, and the Foster product's been noticed.
Durs has come in, and I don't want to set the bar too high for him because he hasn't even played an AFL game yet, but the way he's applying himself in training, asking questions, attacking his gym, trying to put on some more size has been great so far.
While there's also been plenty of praise for Tongala's Harley Reid in his 3rd pre-season.
To see him come back in the shape he has this year has earned a lot of respect, I think. You know, it's taken a bit of learning for him. It doesn't come naturally to everyone, but to see the effort he's putting into his diet, his fitness, even some of his defensive running that we've seen throughout this pre-season has just been unreal so far.
Coach Traralgon's Andrew McQualter's realistic about finals hopes, but has his team gelling?
he showed us, you know, there's 47 people on the list, so there's so many varies of personalities, which is great, you know, shows one thing, another thing, you can sort of learn off each other in that area, and no matter the personality you have, we're all striving for the same goal.
The Eagles have locked in match sim with highly fancied Dockers on February 21. That's our night in sport.
Great, JC. Thank you very much for that. Weather is next with Jeong. Stay with us. Your forecast is coming up after the break.
There's a heap to love here at Strathvillage. There's the new IGA with big brands and big wide aisles, not to mention a heap of fashion stores, great cafes and plenty of free parking. Meet me at the Village, Strathvillage.
Welcome back. Plenty of sunshine across the region with warm temperatures across the board. We saw historic temperatures recorded yesterday, with Hopetoun setting a new state record for the hottest day, peaking at 48.9 degrees. While there's been a slight reprieve in temps today, a severe heatwave warning remains in place for our region until at least Saturday. Our Wednesday weather pick comes from Paul and Kathy. Thank you so much for that awesome shot. Now let's look at the details from today. Pockets of sunshine in Kyneton with temps already reaching the 30s by 10:30 this morning. Temps maxed out at a top of 35 degrees. A dry day in Bendigo with humidity levels around 30% with plenty of sunshine overhead. A slight reprieve in temperatures today in Hopetoun. Meanwhile, in Swan Hill we saw clear skies and plenty of sunshine. A similar story in Balranald. On the charts, a low pressure trough is lying over the northeast as a high pressure ridge shifts west as we go to air. And looking ahead, that ridge will persist to the south over the coming days as another trough starts to move across the state on Saturday. To the forecast for central Victoria, mostly sunny with fresh winds potentially picking up tomorrow. An overnight low of 12 in Kyneton, heading to a top of 32 degrees. We're expecting scorcher temps in Kerrang, Charlton and Hopetoun tomorrow. Taking a look at Bendigo tomorrow, plenty of sunshine is on the way and temps are nudging the 40s. And in Melbourne, it's looking like partly cloudy conditions will settle in, heading to a top of 26. Looking at the days ahead for our region, Friday will be mostly sunny with a slim chance of showers. Saturday's looking partly cloudy, and on Sunday, morning showers are possible. That's all for weather tonight, Bruce. Back to you.